Welcome to my journey of personal learning. Learning new things and critically challenging what I perceive as a norm has been difficult. I'm a member of our socially constructed world, which is made up of many different groups, which include color or whiteness, class, multiculturalism, First Nations, gender, feminism, racism. I don't have enough time to discuss them all here, but I will focus on whiteness, classism, multiculturalism, and First Nations. Disrupting normative narratives has broadened my understanding for those in and those out of these groups, which has been a challenging journey, thought-provoking, and at times emotionally charged. Normative narratives are the beliefs and values I take for granted in my daily life. These systems of belief support the dominant power and social order I used to think, I'm white and I'm not treated differently from anyone else. But class discussions have showed me that people of color are treated differently. This is something I hadn't been aware of. We need to understand how we are perceived by others. As McIntosh says, one's life is not what one makes it. Many doors open for certain people through no virtues of their own. I am treated differently because I am white. As a class, we discussed our initial responses to Peggy McIntosh's article and examined normative narratives of our group members and discussed their rebuttals. This was very interesting. Listening to the group's views showed me all the advantages I have without even thinking about it. For example, when I go shopping, I'm not followed around the store by security, whereas those of color are closely scrutinized because society assumes the worst of them. When I first heard about white privilege, I didn't believe it. My common rebuttal was, how can I be privileged? I'm poor. I came from England, which was a classism society. How could I be privileged? My father was self-employed who worked 6 days a week, while my mother cleaned houses. There was never enough money. Jam sandwiches were regular evening meals for me and my 3 sisters. Fruit and books and cookies were things we never had. Classism is a system of beliefs that ranks people according to economic status. Our society works in this way, and we have a society built on structural oppression. As my parents didn't have any money, my family was on the poor side of the rich-poor binary. The myth of meritocracy, that they should work harder to get ahead, is false. Both my parents worked hard. No matter how hard they worked, there was never enough money. I now realize that being white does give me advantages, and my initial reaction was one of white fragility, which is resistance to recognizing that I am naturally given privilege. I felt discomfort at the thoughts of having privilege. I wanted to push back and defend myself. As Sensoy and D'Angelo suggest, I wanted to push back to regain our racial position and equilibrium, which of course puts me back in my power position where I feel comfortable. I used to think that Canada was a warm, welcoming country to all, where we are proud of our multicultural heritage. We're a melting pot of many cultures, where we are tolerant and innocent, but that isn't the case. This normative narrative is debunked by St. Denis's article, where she explains how multiculturalism divides people into social groups and then pits one group against another in the competition for power and resources. Multiculturalism doesn't stop the social inequity, as no one is as equal as the dominant white group. Canada's concept of multiculturalism is superficial, as it focuses on the external aspects of culture, food, dance, and song, which is not the culture. And worst of all, multiculturalism manages to silence certain groups, as it deflects the focus away from Indigenous rights, which is most Canadians aren't aware of. There are other children here is a common rebuttal, which shows that Canadians don't understand the difference between multiculturalism and our First Nations people. Indigenous people have lived in Canada for thousands of years, and it is important for all students to learn about Canada's history and dispel willful ignorance, as Sensoy and D'Angelo explain, for First Nations issues. I have lived in Canada for half my life and didn't understand what was going on. I believed the rebuttal, Indians are lazy, they don't want to work. This course has opened my eyes and I now disbelieve this myth. Discussing Aboriginal issues in our breakout groups was informative. I enjoyed discussing Indigenous issues with Aboriginal students, and their view was informative and helped me understand the hardships Aboriginal people face. I have learned that the Government of Canada has tried to assimilate the Indigenous people into society and continually repress them. I know that we are all treaty people, as our ancestors developed the treaties to ensure the society we have today. We need to treat each other with respect. When all students understand treaty education, the normative, as Tupper says, treaty education challenges and is corrective to a liberal democratic discourse of citizenship and its normative logic of equality, partly by drawing attention to the inequalities experienced by First Nations people as a result of government policies, but also by drawing attention to the collective rights of Aboriginal people in Canada, which are necessarily different from the rights of non-Aboriginal people. It challenges students to trouble narratives of citizenship that expose universalism. It is always good to challenge ourselves. and the normative narratives we live by because they are limiting. This course has made me understand the normative narratives of society and begin to unravel them. I am changed by this class. I don't see things the same way anymore. All interactions with the outside world make me question what is really being said and what is being left out. I've never thought this way before. Thank you.